There are over 400 tents here at 200 North Spring Street. What began here on October 1st has brought every possible combination of person together for a common cause. The tenets of race, class, and sex are all substituted here for a unifying belief. The people here have realized the problem that plagues the country, and they have decided to occupy Los Angeles. These people were obviously mad as hell and weren't going to take it anymore. Even if that meant just going to a place and not leaving, at least it was something. So that's what happened from October 1st until the morning of November 30th. By day, people exchanged ideas about what should be done. They formed bonds and took care of each other. By night, the General Assembly provided the democratic arm of the movement, a forum where those ideas were carried out. Many didn't participate, but some met on the steps every night at 7:30, and they decided how the community would be ran and tried to do their best part to change the world. This is Callie Little. She greets everybody that comes to the park. She's the first person you see when you come to visit Occupy.
I'm a part of the Resources Committee. We're the ones who handle the finances and taking the in-kind donations, so water, food, tarps. We take a lot of bedding and hygiene products and all sorts of things that keep this community running. We have a lot of different committees that work together to, some of them to provide services, some of them to decide things like what kind of actions we're going to be taking.
Committees and affinity groups form the backbone here at Occupy. They can be found all over the grounds, brainstorming in groups. When they come up with something they think will help the movement, they bring it to the General Assembly.
Going to be closing stacks for committee announcements in 1 minute. So if you have a committee announcement that you wish to make, please approach your stacker. Please approach the stackers and make your wish.
A good example of how this process works can be seen when you observe the creation, demise, and rebuilding of the People's Library and University. Tribal feels very strongly about the library in particular and has come to the GA to propose that he rebuild the structure.
Recently, for those that well, everyone knows that there was a storm that it caused a significant amount of damage to tents and structures that we have had placed. The library happened to have been a part of that. I took initiative to go ahead and start cleaning up the books and getting things back in order. What I would like to discuss is the importance of knowledge and information, because that's how one is able to begin to gain clarity in relation to fixing the problems of self and others. We have to share our knowledge that's been spread everywhere. We can get everybody into the library and into the university to arm themselves with truth, to be able to come to these meetings and be well versed in how they want to present their queries and their problems and discuss how they want to gain contentment in life.
The structure was gone when Tribal said that. It took him an entire weekend to get the structure the way you see it here. Notice the books hanging out to dry. This movement isn't supposed to have any leaders, but if it were, Tribal would easily be one of them.
What I've been doing to help support Occupy LA is I came in from another Occupy city and had seen, after assessment of things that they needed assistance with, decided to just be proactive and response able. After the weather had passed through the last few days and a lot of tents and a lot of structures got knocked down and destroyed, I immediately seen that the library and the university needed some help, and I immediately started getting those books up out of the water, started getting them, rejuvenated. As you see, I'm sitting there, I'm hanging up whatever's wet. I'm just getting started on the wet books, and that's literally barely grazing the surface of how many books were wet. As far as everything else we got, we still have stuff in tubs. We're still waiting for people to come in and be able to donate any bookshelves, so that way we can stack the books up on the shelves so people can be able to see them and read them. Any kind of books, any kind of literature, anything that you have from whatever organization that you work with or are a part of, please bring them to the library. People want to know everything that's going on with you, your greatest opinions and your views, so that way we can be able to put it all together. As far as the universities, this still going. A lot of people been asking me for the past couple of days, hey, what happened to the library? What happened to the the People's University? I said, it's still here. It hasn't gone anywhere. And the only thing they're doing, we're just getting water out of the basement, so to speak.
Okay. So what kind of work goes into putting something like this together? Because I know
know you did it from, I mean, there's nothing there.
Right.
Yeah, so
Well, it takes a unified communal style effort. What we do is we just improvise whatever tools and materials needed or that we have available to need in the expedition of getting this structure rebuilt. Right now, I've just come up with an idea of using some bamboo. Hopefully I can find some good bamboo to get these structures reinforced and get something going over the top here, because I heard there's more rain coming. So I want to make sure that we get the roof of this thing reinforced to the point that we don't have this problem again and have to dry out more books and stuff, because eventually it'll be, I mean, children have been coming past here with their parents. You know, they've been actually taking their parents on tour of this place. Dad, this is like the teacher says at school, remember? And he's like, yeah, son, that was beautiful yesterday when they came and they seen this library, they seen a place of learning. So yeah, we got, like I said, we got weather coming this weekend. I'm just sitting here manning the post to make sure that we can keep the books and the literature going, so that way people will have publications to be able to read. I don't care if you're with the media or not. Come on down and find out some truth. You know, people are bringing stuff, they're dropping it off. If you got any books you want to bring them down.
don't let that overly optimistic demeanor fool you. Occupy is definitely not without its problems.
You know, a big problem is food. The health department, because we don't have, we don't have the ability to be up to code, given that we're outdoors, has restricted the types of food that we can serve. So right now we're only authorized to take in water and juice and beverages, and then packaged food, individually packaged food. So like granola bars, individually packaged oatmeal, and so that does severely restrict so people want to help, and sometimes they don't have.
We actually just got a really huge donation. We're still in the process of putting it away. Snapples and chips from the World Harvest Food Bank. Actually, I don't know if you've heard of them or not, but we had. It's pretty across the board, as a matter of fact. We get Rocket Pizza giving us pizza sometimes. We have people paying them to deliver this, so they get to both stick up for support a local business and occupy at the same time, which is kind of cool.
Dee Dee is visited by the health inspector every day and is given a list of compliances. The city has made it known that public health and safety reasons are its biggest concern. This is Ngozi. He's not sure why he has to keep coming back to Occupy.
I came here because to see what is going on with the Occupy.
And you thought it was dirty?
They claim that it's dirty. Those in Auckland, they claim that it's dirty, it's filter because of health reasons. I don't see anything here dirty at all. They use it as a method to discourage people from participating. That's what I can find out.
And you work for who?
I work for the government, County of Los Angeles.
Okay, can I just see
No, I don't want this to go there.
Okay.
Don't let this go there.
So there it was, a health inspector telling me to my face that there were no health problems or risks here. Another problem here at Occupy is homelessness. To some people, it's a bigger problem than others.
Today.
What have you learned along the way with writing the article? What kind of things have you had to figure out? Or what have you learned?
I've learned what a displaced persons camp looks like.
It's not just a displaced.
No, it's not. It is not just a displaced persons camp, but it's partly that.
It's Occupy Los Angeles. He's just referring to the fact. Well, we live down.
I'm referring to the fact that part of this is a displaced persons camp,
we live in the southwest quadrant.
and
on
part
the
of it
South
is
Lawn.
a displaced persons camp of people who, in their wildest nightmares, never dreamed they could wind up in a displaced persons camp.
Yeah, and
Then there's other people here who are used to it.
It's warfare. We're in the middle of a war, and what the weapon of the 1% is the mainstream media, and all we have is our word. Okay.
Yvonne and John are writers for OccupyLA.org. An issue they have to wrestle with every day is transparency versus pragmatism. Unfortunately, the police are always one step ahead. November 17th marked the 2-month anniversary of the Occupy movement. Cities all over the country would be staging huge protests bent on disrupting business as usual. LA was no different. Its sporadic marches occurred throughout the day. This particular fracas took place on 5th and Grand. As you can see, there are hundreds of police here. By the end of the day, only 3 people would be arrested. By this time it was clear the city had had enough. Mayor Antonio Villaraigosa subsequently promulgated the ultimatum. It would end the morning of November 28th. It took approximately 1,400 riot gear-clad policemen. Nearly 300 were arrested. A majority of them were released 3 days later and had to pay $5,000 bail. Others weren't so lucky. A civil disobedient medic named Megan was arrested here. She was in custody for 5 hours before she was processed into LAPD's system. She was never read her rights and never given a phone call. After processing, she was transported to Van Nuys for the remainder of 3 days. Some will remember 79-year-old protester Ruth Sarnoff. She and Megan were arrested in the same circle. She worries about her grandson and about the future of the planet, and said if she could do it again, she would.
Excuse me, Mr. Obama, could we get a copy of your comic book that has your face and your chest on it? That'd be great for the kids.